Welcome to the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes, showing you how to do wholesaling deals consistently without having to go on seller appointments. Learn the key tips and strategies that Brandon's students use to find deeply discounted properties that are pennies on the dollar, all while avoiding wear and tear on their vehicle, body, and freedom. Whether you're looking for your first deal or your next deal, it's time to send more offers with your host, Brandon Barnes.
Hey, Jesse, man, how are you doing, brother? You look great. How's things going?
Things are great. Just a busy Friday at work, and life is good, my man. It's great to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. Last time we did some content together, I think we were on the REI Live panel. That was right when COVID had just gotten going. Things are crazy. The market was unsure. We didn't know where things were headed. And look, full circle. We're
right back
still
there
in a crazy market situation. So, man, it's great. But you're looking buff. Is physical fitness and personal growth, are you starting to really focus on that now that you've built this amazing business?
Yeah, I mean, I was 250 pounds 2 years ago and was able to really try and find a better balance. I kind of lost that balance I gained all the weight when I started my entrepreneur career. And then I was like, what are you doing? Like, let's find that balance. Let's get back to it. So it's been a huge part of what I've done with just nutrition and working out. So it's been fun, and it's also helped me professionally to where, you know, that those disciplines carry over to your professional career as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah. And I want to talk about that a bit because, you know, a journey of entrepreneur can be tough. It can be rough. You know, and when you're in that season, maybe you're running around just grabbing food on the go and stuff like that. You know, I've definitely been there. Still trying to make sure that I'm, you know, a little bit more intentional about, you know, choices in life. You know, seeing that you've grown Batch, you know, with your partners and as CEO of Batch Services, you know, how, you know, has that journey been for you? Did you really see this being as big of a business as it is now when you first got started, as you were just real estate investing in the beginning?
Absolutely not. I mean, all we were trying to do was solve problems for our real estate investing and wholesaling company at the time. Is there was not a lot of software products out there that are catered towards real estate investors. And it just started with one product and then led to the next and then led to the next. And then it just kept compounding to where I think it was a year or two ago where the three of us looked at each other. We're like, we're at the point of no return now. And let's just continue to service and make sure we could help give tools for people to have success in real estate. And let's see how big we could get this and how much value we could add to the community. But it really started as just a side project trying to help our own businesses. And that's normally when I think the greatest ideas come from, or really getting into a niche and really having a lot of success there is definitely understanding the problems that need to be solved and actually being a customer of your own product, which we were for such a long time.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And, you know, now I know you guys have some amazing stuff coming. You just relaunched. I've seen retrainings. I hear there's maybe a mobile app feature coming up. You know, just tell us a little bit about that. I know we'll get into some of the product and services later, but just tell us about kind of what you guys have cooking.
Yeah, on BatchLeads 3.0, we had another product called Batch Driven, and we collapsed that into BatchLeads because people were using both of the products, and we wanted to make it a much better user experience. And then we also added a bunch of new things in there with click to dialing, and we have all these little things that we added in, new plans, new structures to really compensate for a whole bunch of different business use cases. And next thing that we're tackling is the BatchLeads app. Is our goal is to create the best comping tool that you could possibly have, so you could comp on the go, better than Zillow, better than PropStream, better than Redfin. And I literally, right before this meeting, we're going over all the conceptuals and what it looks like. We had Brent Daniels on the call, who's, you know, this is what makes us different, is we're really getting feedback from the big coaches, from the people that are actually using it every day. And he's like, holy crap, this is incredible. How long? We're like, about a month. And he's like, can you do it sooner? We're like, no. It takes time. It takes time to develop. It's a couple sprints, but
yeah,
it's really exciting. And, we're lucky to where we've grown to where we have a pretty robust developing and engineering team. We got to keep them busy. So we're continuing to push the line and make sure that we're really on that cutting edge of making sure we could do the things that need to be done for our customers to have success, in their businesses. And it's exciting, and it's truly, truly, really fun.
Yeah, I love it. And, I can't wait to hear more. But for the folks that are out there listening right now that, maybe they're just getting going, or maybe they're doing deals and they're trying to grow and scale, can you talk about, when you were in that same seat, what even really got you going with real estate investing? And I know you have your license. Did that come first, or did the investing side come first? Like, how did this business and you getting into real estate investing start?
Actually, I was serving tables with a friend of mine, and she was a bartender, and she got connected and hooked up with a California real estate investor that was flipping and buying rentals in Phoenix. And this was in 2013. And so I went to work for them, and what my job was, now I know now, but back then I was basically an acquisition rep. And this was before there was a lot of off-market deals. So I was scouring for pre-foreclosures, for short sales, and just distressed properties on the MLS, and helping them identify flips. So as I had to learn how to comp properties, I had to learn rehab budgets, I had to learn all those things, and then identify if we could make an offer or not. And then, I would offer, get them under contract, and then he would obviously buy them. I didn't have my license or anything, but I was just sitting there talking to realtors and then letting them double in the deals at the time to get these deals. So I'd reach out to them. This is what we want to do. You could represent us on the buy side as well. And it helped us push a lot of deals through. And then on top of that, they had property management. So every now and again, I would help on the property management side and, get people in the houses. So I got to learn a little bit of that. And then he wanted to start doing vacation rentals. And this was before Airbnb and before Vrbo. I was going on Craigslist posting these things, and then having to run like credit checks and get driver's licenses and all this crazy stuff for a couple really cool vacation rentals. I had to furnish them, do all that stuff. So I got to do a whole bunch of different stuff when I first got started. And then I was with them for about a year, and then I went out and got my license, and then started feeding them deals and feeding other people deals. And then the same person that brought me in, she wanted to branch out on her own. And that's when me, her, and Jared Vidalis started our first wholesale operation. And that's basically the whole origin story of how it got started.
Yeah, I bet you wish you had batch services when you were first like checking out those folks that were getting the short-term rentals and stuff. That's really what Skip Tracing was born out of, right? It was, folks, that are, doing the creditors that are trying to find the clients and whatnot. They're deep diving in and getting accurate contact information. Do you think that was helpful in you kind of, going forward and building out some of the batch services in the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning, because those were my former partners. Now I'm obviously partners with Annie and Evo, but with that first wholesale company, we started with what everyone else was doing at that time: direct mail, door knocking, and then bandit signs. And then we soon realized that's when cold calling really just started. We were also doing a little bit of Google ad stuff, and we're pretty early on that, to where it was really cheap then for, we buy ugly houses and stuff like that. But we were doing nationwide because we're like, well, it's so much cheaper to blanket the whole nation. So that was really difficult, because I was having to learn how to underwrite a new market every single lead that came in to try and get an offer out. But soon after, skip tracing and cold calling really started picking up. And that's when everyone went to TLO. And obviously you're not supposed to use TLO because it's meant for something completely different. And, we were able to use that for a while, and then got shut down because, TLO is not meant for, bulk skip tracing and so on and so forth. But we had a nice run there. And that's kind of, by that time I was on my own doing my own thing. And when I lost that, that's when Evo's like, hey, I have this new great data source. And we just had met at a mastermind. And I was like, I need phone numbers. Like that was the primary use of my business when I was on my own, was I had 5 acquisition guys cold calling, and that's how we're getting deals. And then soon after, that's when the texting came and phone numbers became that much more important. And that's where I started really realizing the shortcomings of the services that were offered for, all the investors in the space. And that's when me and Evo and Annie started creating our products, and started off with, just the skip tracing product.
Love it. And I can kind of put a little bit of a date on this, because so you kind of started in 2013. I know I met Brent late 2016, and that was before TTP, because I think he started that in 2017. So around that time, are you in your mid 20s, late 20s? Are you just kind of getting going and on your own at that point in your life?
I was 28, so I'm 37 now. I'm getting old. I may not look so old now, but
looking great, bro. Like I
but
said.
Yeah, I was 28, 29, and I kind of have a interesting journey, because I definitely in my 20s I was lost. I just really didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was tough. I went to school, and then serving tables, working at golf courses. I thought I wanted to be like a PGA golf pro and be an instructor. And then I interned in a lot of that stuff and got some jobs there. And the money wasn't there. And I didn't like waking up at 4 a.m. And I always wanted to be entrepreneurial. I just never figured it out. Once I got that first job with that investor, I really quickly was like, man, I'm kind of good at this. Like, I love selling. I love learning about how to buy deals and how to do all these different things. And I remember my first check when I actually became a realtor, my first month, I made 10 grand. I'd never made more than $3,000 in a month. And I was like, I felt like I was stealing money. It felt so weird to me. I was like, this is the work. This is the effort I put in, which I put in effort, but I was like,
right.
I'd have to work so hard at the restaurant or so hard at the golf course, 40, 50 hours a week to make $3,000-$4,000. And then, it's just, there's levels, and you learn and you grow as a person. And that was my real first taste of just having some confidence in myself, I think.
Love it. And so when you and Evo and met in the beginning and started to build the product, were you working with them also in real estate investing? Were you guys flipping together? Were you wholesaling? Was it just the wholesale acquisition side, or were you focused more so on like every end, the listing piece, the rehabbing piece, or was it just what was your mix?
So we dated. I call it, we dated for about a year and a half, to where we each had our own wholesale companies. That's how we're really making our money, and that's how we met. Like, they had a nice operation, I had a nice operation. Once we started doing the products together, we would help each other. So that's where I was like, I'm struggling here, they're struggling there. We really started helping each other. But for the first year and a half, we just had year or so, we had the batch skip tracing on our own. And then we started working on BatchLeads at the time. But we were both hesitant because we had very successful separate companies. And then if you collapse something in, it puts more pressure on the three of us, because we all have this expectation, and we've been making this amount of money. If we collapse this together, especially me going from 100% owner of a investing company to 33%, that made me very nervous, to where it's like, we have to really be firing on all cylinders for not just investing, but batch, for that to make sense for me to want to do something like that. So it took a long time for us to get there. And then once we got there, we really went all in, and it was the smartest thing we did, because we were really able to get focused, and we just work really, really well together.
Yeah. And then I know your sister also works with you, right? Janae, I met her or spoken to her a few times. So keeping it in the family, does that have its own dynamic that you kind of have to make sure to either kind of keep them separate, so have conversations as partners and teammates as separate from family members? Or is it just, hey, when things are good, you guys aren't even having any issues or not worried about it?
No, I mean, I think we're all very good at compartmentalizing, to where Family is family and business is business. I'm probably harder on Janae than I am anyone else, to be honest with you. So there's no nepotism there to where I expect, and I have a standard that I expect her to do. And she finally is not my direct report starting 2 weeks ago. So that is quite nice. But
More for
Annie
you or
and
more
Evo,
for her?
probably for her.
All right.
But Annie and Evo is, I would never even know. Like, we all push each other. We're partners, and siblings get completely set aside. Now, obviously, we have, personal relationships outside of work because we're family. But like Annie and Evo, I look at as family now too. Like they're just as much family as my sisters, to where they've been through a lot with me, and we've been through a lot together with, my first child being born, and I've seen Evo's first couple kids be born, and we're very, very close. And I think that's what makes us even stronger, is just the bond that we have. And through good times and bad, not everything's been rainbows and butterflies either, but we respect each other, and we make sure to, we don't get on each other, and there's no point in attacking someone. There's always a better way to resolve any type of issues or disagreements that we're having, to where, especially Annie and Evo are super, super level-headed. I'm the more emotional one, and I'm the one that could get fired up. But when they're not getting fired up too, there's no fire being fueled, to where they're just like, and then I just look like an idiot. They're like, "You want to calm down, or what's going on here?" I'm like,
Right. Right. And look, bro, I ask that because I know there's a lot of folks out there that, and I've been there too. I worked with my wife. I've had, my cousin, doing some cold call. I've had one of my best buddies going down and getting records from the county. And I'm sure there's folks out there that are listening that have tried to work with, friends and family as part of their business, as well as, partnerships. I always think that that's an interesting topic. And, it sounds like your advice is to really compartmentalize things and then make sure that you have, some type of either conflict resolution agreements in place, or just trying to keep things level headed for the most. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys have been able to make that work so well and clearly, because the success, jumps off the screen.
I think even further, because I've had friends come and go and those things, because like naturally when you have success, you want to help the people that you care about. You want to give opportunity to these people. And what I've learned, because I've had a lot of friends come and go actually, and I've learned of relationships that got, I would say, strained because we did work together, and the relationships that got even stronger is setting a standard, saying, let's not let this affect our friendship. This is the expectation I have, and understand if what I expect of you or what your goals are with what you want to do don't align, this shouldn't affect our friendship. Like setting boundaries and standards right when they start is, I think, the most important thing. And the biggest thing that I've learned is, if it works or doesn't work, that's great. People will switch jobs and have jobs or want to grow. Or I've been able to have a few friends that have worked for me, got better jobs, got different opportunities, or went out on their own and done something. I've always been nothing but happy for them. It's like, all right, I appreciate the time you spent with me. But that's where I think sometimes the owners will hold resentment if you get close with someone and then they're ready to go out on their own, but yet you probably worked under someone or did something, and now you have this thriving business. How is it okay for you to say, I'm upset with you for doing that? Like, everyone has different goals and ambitions. It's not fair to that person. Or if they're just not cutting it, and you have to know, be like, hey man, I don't think this may be for you. Like, this is what we expect, and you seem to want to, go out more or not really focus. And we're really in a hyper growth mode. I need you all in. And if you're not all in, like, as my friend, maybe something else is better for you to do. And doing that in a way that's not attacking them, I think is really important. And because you don't want to lose those friendships that you've spent your whole life building. And I think those are some of the important things that people don't understand, is take a step back, take the friendship and emotion out of it, and be happy for that person. Or they need to understand that maybe they're not doing the service that they should be doing as an employee for you, and understand where you're coming from. So there's two sides to it, but I think setting those standards at the beginning and the expectations, that if I could tell anyone right now, and if you're going to work with family members or friends, that's my best advice for you.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. And I agree with you. Even in the household, with myself, 5 kids, me and my wife had to have a conversation about expectations, especially when baby is new and I mean, not brand new. So, a year or so down the line, still not in school, that's something where I need to be able to focus on work and being a provider and, setting those expectations have helped our life that much more. Same way in business, because it's almost like you and your partner, I mean, almost have like a business marriage, so to speak. You end up can be, speaking to your partners just as much or more than you would your spouse, girlfriend, fiance, etc. In this case. So great advice. And I think that you're one of the best people to be able to share that advice, having two partners in a major business. I kind of want to talk about the numbers of things and just so folks realize and understand kind of the astronomical success that you guys have had over the past few years. A Batch Services got started on and what date, and kind of what does that look like for you guys?
It was July 2018 is when we officially partnered up, and Evo had some website, but then we revamped the website and actually started doing some marketing and stuff towards it. And then, so yeah, we're right about almost 4.5 years now is basically where we're at.
Yeah. And what I would say, you maybe crossed that first, 6 figures, 7 figures, within what time frame, not on the real estate investing piece, but on the services side?
6 months.
6 months, already crushing it.
We were the right place, the right time, had a good offering, and we were lucky enough to, Brent really partnered with us, and Brent Daniels was growing at the same time that we started, coming out, and he's Mr. TTP and the cold calling guy. We gave him the best skip tracing out there, and it just caught on in social media, and people just started referring it, and we were lucky enough to have quick success. That's when we started building other products, and we kept reinvesting all of our money into developing in the engineering side of things, because we were all both very successful with our real estate investing company. So this was just, we were just pouring profits back in, and that's how we were able to get to where we are today, was because of those decisions we made, instead of taking the money and going and blowing it on stuff because we're making this great money with this other thing that we're doing. We made the conscious decision to really just go all in and see where it took us. And it's been a crazy ride, ever since that started.
And then you add fuel to the fire with Jamil Damji, and then the alien Pace Morby. He just never turns off, out there crushing it. What have you seen from some of your users, of just kind of hearing how they're using the services and what it's done to add to their business? What have some of the stories kind of sounded like, of success stories of your clients?
I mean, there's so many. The reviews that we have are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and that's where I was always envious of the Brents, the Paces, the Jamils, the Steves, that they're all educators, and I also love helping people, inspiring people, and making sure people can be successful. But that's just not my personality, is being that coach. That doesn't work for me. And I was so happy that we're able to carve something out to where we're able to give a product. They're able to do the part to motivate and get them going and help them understand all the things, on how to get a deal. But you need systems and tools as well. And we were able to really fill that space. And that's where I get my fulfillment, is knowing that we're constantly talking to our customers, constantly talking to the coaches, constantly talking to the community, and listening and making sure we're giving them what they need as markets move and things change, that we're on the forefront of making sure they could have success. Because I have been there, and that's what makes me and Evo different, is I know what it felt like to get your first deal. I also know what it felt like to not live paycheck to paycheck. I also know what it felt like to get your first 6-figure deal, and you're like, wow.
Right. Right.
And knowing that we have tools that help people do this, and I've heard story after story after story. This is why I wake up every morning excited. Like, this is what I do it for, is our customers. I am obsessed with it. I spend all my time with customer success, sales, and our product roadmap. Like, that's all I work on every single day. If you want to know what I do, it's product roadmap. It's making sure we're servicing our customers in the right way. And it's making sure that sales is selling the right way. If they're not ready to be a customer, let them know that and tell them to go watch more YouTube videos for a while. I don't want someone to use our product before they're ready. That's not our core values. Our core value is to be customer obsessed and is to do all these different things and lead with integrity. If someone's not ready, I don't want your money. I want you to save your money until you're ready and then go use our product, or go get on Zillow and call for sale by owners. If you've never talked to a homeowner, you probably shouldn't start using our product immediately.
For sure.
And that's what I train our sales on. It's in the customer support. It's the whole organization being aligned, is making sure we do the right thing. And then we could have and for the people that are super ambitious or have these successful companies, how do we service them to 10x their business? And that's what I ask, our team every single day. And I think that's what makes us special, is we have a different culture and customer service than all of our other competitors. I will hang my hat on that every single day.
Love it. And I know a lot of these guys, and I know I've seen how much you guys collaborate and work together, and how much of a family it is. So I can attest to that. You guys started with just batch skip tracing in the beginning, right? So a user that's out there, somebody that's listening right now, I also would vouch for batch skip tracing as being the best software that is not, used by, investigators, right? The best non-regulated services out there. And I've tested, and that's what I suggest even to my coaching students of the past. But you guys have started to add on some other tools and services for the person that's just looking for their first deal. And I'll ask about that first. And I want to know kind of for the folks that are then scaling, but for the person looking to do their kind of very first deal, what different products and what things can you guys offer, or do you offer, that would help them, get that very first deal and go from there?
I mean, definitely with our flagship product, BatchLeads, that's where you could get your list, you could comp there, you could get your cash buyers there. We even have a personal plus plan now, because we have a personal basic and plus. Personal plus plan, we just built this with 3.0. It's a little bit more. It's about $299 a month, but you could actually get a click to dial in there. So if you don't have a dialer or you want to keep track of your leads, you can literally start clicking through like the lists that you're making and start calling homeowners and being able to disposition some of those stuff. Now, if you're bigger, we also have batch dialer, to where you could start, dialing once you have a bigger budget for phone numbers, and the two products obviously talk to each other. But if you're just getting started, if our first plan starts at $99 a month, and you get 10,000 records and all those great things. And if you don't have the $299, then $99 gets you started every single month. And if you need a call from your phone or whatever, that's more than fine. But it just depends where you're at. But it just you're able to look at properties. You could kind of build your own little CRM inside BatchLeads. It's kind of a prospecting CRM is kind of what it's evolved into. So if you're just getting started, that's the best tool to really get started with. But I don't want you to sign up if you're not going to call people all day.
Right. That's the thing, that they need to be speaking to people every single day if you want to have success, right? So being able to have the data, being able to click the call, I didn't know that was a feature with 3.0. So that's amazing that right from where you pull the information, you can just jump right into a call, have that next conversation with that homeowner, and make an offer, right? Because it's going to help you with the comping process as well.
Right.
Talk about the kind of data and data stacking, and because right now, right, in the industry, and what we talked about in the beginning, like the market, has come right back around where things are tougher. I've been telling folks, this is the time to really get in front of true motivated homeowners.
Right.
pulling a list of a big, absentee group of folks and calling them, that's what everybody else is doing. What would you advise somebody that wants to use the data that's available to really dig in and find somebody who should be even more motivated, that really needs to sell their house right now? How can they find that through Batch?
Right. And I guess I should have got a little bit more specific, is we have the whole entire country's database. So like when I say pull a list, you get to create exactly what you want. And BatchLeads actually started just as list filtering and stacking place to identify motivating filters. But we have now like 20 different quick filters. So depending on your market, you could just quick filter stuff. You could even create your own quick filter now, which is really cool. So you could have your own criteria and have a quick filter for that. But that's where you could really layer, out of state owners that have vacant properties that is a certain bed and bath count. We even have demographic data now to where, you could understand incomes, and is it single family? Is it all these different things? Like it's literally like it's at the tip of your fingertips. You could really do a lot of things with our data, but you have to learn your market. Every market's different. So understand, or what are you going after? What type of buyers are you looking for? That should be the first question that you're asking. Are you going after, are you selling to people that are buying Airbnbs? Are you selling to flippers? Are you selling to renters? I've had a lot of friends have success selling to builders. They're going after the vacant land. There's so many different ways to do it. If you're getting started, pick one way, find the buyers that you want to work with first. And then what you do is you go look for what they're looking for. You bring them contracts, and that's how you make money. It's not rocket science, but a lot of people do it the other way around. Is they'll just blanket properties, have no idea what they're buying, and then have to go search for someone to sell the property to. Have your buyers first, and then go look for them, because now you have a criteria to go after.
Yeah, that's great advice. For folks that, are wanting to get into multifamily and commercial, I've found that, you can find some level of information that's out there, from the different list vendors, such as Batch, where you can find some set of multifamily. Is that something that, if somebody says, hey, I'm wanting to kind of get into and break into that and start speaking to multifamily homeowners, is, Batch a place where they can find those small multifamily units as well?
Yeah. And the cool thing about us is we've worked really hard on this last couple of years. Is we actually have the best and a very proprietary way of skip tracing LLCs now, to where we're able to make sure that you can get in contact with the homeowner, because there's going to be a lot less people that are just, with their name on title for multifamily, to where we've done a lot of different things to where we can make sure you could get in touch with the actual person that owns that LLC. So yeah, I think Batch is the best tool to go about using that for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about that just a little bit further. When people usually pull lists, right? You know, most of the time you're starting off, you're just looking for the individually owned properties. Right. If you were to, say, hey, I just want to isolate the LLCs, is that something that, you've heard folks have success, like saying, hey, instead of just pulling all the individual owners, I'm going to pull all the LLCs and try them out. Is that a way that you can find deals as well?
Definitely. I just want to exclude LLCs. When you're creating your criteria, your list, I would just keep LLCs in there, because there's going to be a much higher match rate with individual owned homeowners. So the LLCs is going to be much less, but there's still something there. We're still much more than the next best. But I wouldn't separate them. I would just not exclude LLCs when you're reaching out to the list, or the list that you're trying to make. I would just blend them together. And if you wanted to have them separated out, you could, but I haven't heard too many people doing it. I guess we heard it here first from you. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to test that.
Well, you look, hey, there was a point where, when you could use like LexisNexis or something like that, it wouldn't return the results for LLC owners.
Right.
And I remember that, Batch was one of the first to really showcase batch skip tracing for LLCs.
Right.
In doing so, do you guys have a filter where you exclude LLCs that own so many properties? Can you even tweak it to that and say, hey, I want only LLC owners that own less than 5?
You could do that for, yes, actually you can, because you would go there, like that's where you'd use the cash buying filter, because we have cash buyers. So you're able to say, I want to look from people that own this amount of properties to this amount of properties, and you go skip trace them. So you're just curating your list a little bit differently, but yes, you could do that. I was thinking the other way, but absolutely you could do that.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's so many opportunities, and this is all about, finding, either you can find your niche, but going where others aren't going, right, as much. Like that's how, we're really, having success. And that's, one of the best ways to have success is not following the herd, and real estate investing. I want to talk about a deal specifically, and I know you guys are still doing deals. You still have assets, multifamily units that you own, commercial properties that you recently sold. Can you think of one recently that just kind of shows how you as an entrepreneur, are still finding ways to do real estate investing deals?
Yeah, and when we're off air, definitely doing some real estate. We're not actively, I wouldn't call myself or Andy and Evo active real estate investors now, but we're still looking for, some multifamily, but we're not self-sourcing deals, which sucks because that's when you get the best deals, is when you're going direct to seller. So we're still buying some stuff here and there.
You're building and growing an amazing business. I don't think you're gonna be having a whole acquisitions team and doing wholesale deals left and right. But is there an example of one that you guys have done recently? Yeah,
I could use one of the properties that I personally did. So I this was when I still have my wholesale operation. Is I bought a sixplex in Phoenix, 2018, I believe, and I got a really good deal on it. I got it $100,000 per duplex. It's 3 duplexes right next to each other. So I paid $300,000. They're super under rented. So I'll tell a story about a value add play. So what I instantly did is, they're $450 a month. So it was well under market value. What I did was got rents up to about $700 to get that cap rate up, which was super nice.
Yeah.
And then what I did from there was no one really moved out because these people have lived there forever. So eventually it came to the place where these places, they needed to be remodeled. They're like probably a 20, 25-year-old remodel. So finally I made the decision to slowly start removing the tenants a duplex at a time and doing like a full remodel on each of them. So that remodel over about a year span, because I wanted to keep tenants there. I didn't want to just move everyone out because I just treated each duplex as a flip, basically. It just one at a time. And then as one got moved out, the other one finished. So you move new tenants in at a much higher rent to have a much better cap rate. Long story short is I was all in for probably another $300,000. So about $600K I'm all in. Fast forward to early this year, I was just still so busy with Batch. And it's just this one, I just have a handful of rentals that I own on my own. I was just like, the market's super hot. I think it's just time to sell. And I put some feelers out there because at this time I own them free and clear. So I was just cash flowing, but I had no mortgage on any of them. So I was sitting on a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And cap rates have gotten so high to where I put them up off market for $1.2 million and sold it the first day. And
wow.
So I made a $600,000 profit on something I only owned for about 2.5 years, which was super awesome. To where that's why, as I said, keep buying and buy, because markets are going to fluctuate. Just know the right time to get in and out of your assets. And now I have, I didn't even 1031 that money because I didn't like what the market was doing. I was pulling my money out of the market. Why, if I want to capitalize on my profits, why would I pull my money out and then deploy it right back into a market that I think is too hot? So I have this money right now sitting on the sidelines, and now we're seeing the market shift. So I'm going to wait all next year, and I have over $1 million of cash sitting on the side to go find an even bigger multifamily deal that I could put my money into and have a much better cap rate, and try and do the same thing that I did 3 years ago and to what I sold earlier this year. So it's really, now there's different strategies. If I wasn't so busy and I don't care what people tell you. Owning rentals is not completely passive. I have the property manager calling me for this tenant did this tenant moved out. This is what's going on. They need a repair here. It's never passive. And it just wasn't worth my time. And I thought the market was too hot today. But my goal is as Batch stabilizes even further, and if I could have some more time, I can't wait in the future to focus on having a bigger real estate portfolio. But I shrunk that down for the meantime because the real focus is really growing this software company and really making sure that we're doing everything we can for our customers and to grow. So
For sure.
that's kind of a decision that I had to make. But man,
what was the closing date on that?
I got lucky. It was like February or something of this year. So when the market was still super hot.
Perfect time. That was like 2 months before the interest rates start rising. You must have had a great tip. Was that an on-market property when you found it, or?
Nope. It was sourced by one of my acquisition guys. So like I got a great deal on it when I bought it because I bought it with what's really cool too is when you are doing these deals, if you're going to buy, I told them, hey, this is an as-is purchase, but I'm getting loans on these, but I'm not asking for, I paid all the closing costs, did all the things. You could still structure it as if it were a cash deal. Like, hey, this is your net number. I'm paying closing costs, I'm paying fees, but I'm getting loans on these conventional loans because I'm keeping them. He's like, I don't care as long as I get paid. So yeah. It was a great self-source deal. They each appraised at like $125,000. So I started with $75,000 of equity per duplex. And then, you know, as I said, they were under rented, undervalued. And then I decided to do full remodels on them. So when I started, I got them for $450. When I sold them, the rent was $1,300 a unit. So I was cash flowing each unit because I owed them free and clear. That's like $2,600 a month that I was cash flowing on each of them.
Lovely, lovely. And I mean, some of these, you know, opportunities, right, are just going to continue to present themselves, you know, as you're continuing to, you know, be an entrepreneur, be around real estate investing. Just, you know, what advice would you say to the person that, you know, is looking at either, you know, also creating some software, a service or a tool, or just, you know, the entrepreneurship side of building a team and scaling their real estate investing career? What advice would you give someone about your journey as an entrepreneur?
Well, for software, it's really, really expensive. And if you get into it and you're not an engineer or developer, I'd say good luck. You would have to partner with somebody that could at least get a prototype or some type of alpha or beta up and running to see if it's actually gonna, if your niche and the solution that you created is actually wanted or needed. Don't go burn up a bunch of money by hiring a bunch of people. Partner with someone that could actually do the work with you. You run front of house, they run back of house. If you're some type of real estate investor that wants to create a product, you have to find a partner, or else it's so expensive to get that alpha or beta out, because you want to see if the product has market fit. Like, you don't want to make any assumptions. Get something out there, get feedback and build it. But like, if it's good, people will want it and people will pay for it. But that's my advice on the software. And then what was your question for the real estate?
Just as a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, you know, growing something great. And I think you somewhat answered that. But maybe, you know, just you've kind of talked about team building as well, you know, making sure that you're, you know, resolving things with partners and teammates. But yeah, any other advice just on the real estate investing side of things as an entrepreneur and growing a true business instead of just hustling? Any advice from you on that?
I sure do. I have advice on that. I would say the thing, because I get to talk to a lot of investors, a lot of successful, a lot of people trying to come up, and you need to learn your numbers. You really have to understand your business and your numbers. And the other thing you have to learn how to do is understanding that what you do is for everyone else, to make sure that you empower your team, empower your managers, empower your leaders. You're not the man. You're the person that supports your team. Your dreams don't happen without these people. And I think people forget that real quickly. You're not better than them. You can't do this without them. And you need to be appreciative, and you need to pour into them. More of your time should be spent into supporting and seeing them grow. And then you need to do your own growing on the side. But people really think because you own the business or you started this company, you're nothing without your team. Then you turn right back into a hustler that has to do everything on their own. And I think people get egos really quickly when they start making some money, and you have to understand that it's all about them. That's how you really grow. That's how you really build. And that's where you really create a team that's going to be able to do stuff on their own and want to help you grow the business and then have their buy-in and their equity buy-in or sweat equity to where they truly care and they're passionate about, what they're doing, because you're kind of making them an entrepreneur. They're an entrepreneur inside your own business. You want them to own things. You want them to make decisions. If you're the one that's a dictator making all the decisions, they're always going to rely on you. They're never going to be able to feel empowered to make decisions. I don't care if you make a decision and it's wrong or fail, but you better let me know what you learned, how we're going to do it differently, and how we keep cranking towards the future. But that's my biggest advice, to be honest with you. And it's brutal truth is you can't do it without them, and you need to realize that and understand that.
That's great. That's great. And guys, I hope you're hanging on to every word of that, because this is a CEO of an organization that has how many team members at this point, Jesse?
Over 250.
Oh my goodness. So the man knows what he's talking about, guys. The man knows what he's talking about exactly. Jesse, this has been great. And I know we could sit here and talk for hours. But look, I can't let you go without putting you through the lightning round. Are you ready for that?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Cool, bro. So this is a series of rapid fire questions. You don't know the question. I don't know your answer. So just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Got it.
What's one book that's been instrumental to your growth as a real estate investor or entrepreneur? Let's phrase it for that.
Atomic Habits.
Oh, love it. I like that one. I forget the author.
James Clear.
James Clear. Perfect. Good stuff. If you could have drinks or coffee with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, God. Is this for business or for anything?
Anything. Any personal?
Tiger Woods. I'm a huge golf person. He's been my dude since I was little.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And his mindset is crazy. So just how did he get there?
Couldn't imagine. Right. With everything that's going on, and then still come back and win, at the highest level is even crazier. What's the best advice that you would give somebody looking to do their very first wholesale deal?
Talk to people.
Goes without saying, TTP, baby. What's one mistake that you've made on a deal or in business in general that if you could do over, you would take that opportunity?
Buying out-of-state deals, not understanding the markets.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. You can get slaughtered trying to go into a new market because, they're different. Right?
For flips and holds, I've done it, and I've learned lessons hard ways. I've lost money on deals that I should have never lost money on.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. What is the financial goal that you guys have set for your business for this calendar year? That's really kind of a real estate investing question. But answer that however you want.
I'm not allowed to disclose those numbers.
Right. So say, do you got any,
there's no way I could really answer this question.
You probably really can't. Like, this is a very special situation. But let's just say that you woke up tomorrow and you have $500 million deposited into your personal account overnight. What's the first thing that you would go out and purchase with that newfound money?
More businesses.
Boom. I love it. And lastly, for the person that's listening right now that just can't seem to get things going, maybe they're struggling or, they haven't been able to string together 2 deals, in 2 months ever, what would you tell that person?
Go be honest. Go work for someone that does a bunch of deals and learn how to do it. Just let them know your intentions. that's how I learned, and I'm forever grateful for it.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, look, Jesse, man, how, I know you have a lot going on, but you're still putting out great content. Where can people follow you and see everything that you have going on?
Instagram, just my first and last name, Jesse Burrell. And then TikTok, I haven't posted in forever, but I'm meaning to get on there again. But Facebook, I have one, but like I don't even have the Facebook app. So like, don't ever message me on Facebook. I should probably disable my account, to be honest with you.
Just stick to Instagram, and then the handle is
my first and last name
at Jesse.
Yeah,
okay.
At Jesse
First
Burrell.
name, last name. Awesome. And guys, I want to invite you to Batch, batchleads.io/SMO for send more offers. Of course, that's batchleads.io/SMO. Jesse, is there anything else that you kind of want to leave folks with, something that you guys may have coming up? I know they're going to go to the site and check it out. Is there anything else that you want to leave people with?
Honestly, the best advice I could give is, if you want to be entrepreneur, if this is what you want to do, just understand that it's not cut out for everyone. It's hard, and it's not always going to be easy. Just understand you have to be doing the things that others aren't willing to do. Because if everyone could do it, it'd be easy. Are you willing to sacrifice the weekends? Are you willing to sacrifice, if you're young, the going out, the partying, the all the little things? There's a give and take to everything in every choice that you make, not just in business, but in everything, business and personal. So, a lot of people look at people and say, man, they just see the back end of the success, but they don't actually see all the things that went into it and the sacrifice that you actually had to make to get there. And the people that are willing to make those sacrifices, I'm saying you're the man or woman. I'm proud of all y'all, because I know what it takes, and you're providing jobs for people and you're inspiring people, and there's no better feeling. But also, I know I'm kind of going on a rant now, but it's entrepreneurship also isn't for everyone, and it's okay to go kill it and work inside a business and carve your path there. And I think there's a stigma now to where that's what you need to be. And I have so many great people that work with me that could go do things on their own, but like they own their own pod and their own stuff inside of Batch, and they're able to lead people and able to do things. It doesn't have to be one way. You can make impact so many different ways. So if I could leave you with anything, it's like, don't let anyone dictate what you should or shouldn't be. Like, everyone has different personalities and different ways that they work well. I know a lot of people that actually are awesome at what they do, working inside a business as like a high level, VP or manager or director, to where entrepreneurship just isn't for them, but they're some of the greatest people inside of a business. And that's okay. Like, I feel like people get like shamed to work a 9-to-5 now or work for someone,
Right.
when
especially with social media,
that is not the case whatsoever. And I know a lot of people that work inside our org that make a lot more money than some of these entrepreneurs out here. So
right.
to each is your own, my man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. And look, I want to remind people, look, Batch 3.0 just came out, and there's more exciting stuff on the way, being able to comp directly from your phone, another mobile app update release coming soon. So stay tuned, follow Jesse, head over to batchleads.io/SMO. And guys, as I always like to share, at sendmoreoffers.com, look, there's nothing for sale, just a bunch of resources. You can book a call. You can sign up for the email list. Would love to invite you guys over to sendmoreoffers.com. And Jesse, look, it's always great catching up. I'm super excited for what you guys have in store. I can't wait to hear, and I can't wait to come out to Phoenix again,
Please,
to catch up. And we'll be getting together soon, man. I promise.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. And it was great talking with you today.
Yeah, same here. As always, guys, go out there, send more offers, do more deals. Till next time, peace.
That's all for this episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes. But we know you're craving more knowledge to get yourself ready for that next deal. To schedule a call with Brandon to learn more about how to do deals consistently without seller appointments in a repeatable way, be sure to visit us at sendmoreoffers.com. And be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show.